Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. For this week's video, I'm going to be doing a spring Victorian home. So I haven't done a home in the Strangerville world in a while, and there is a very heavy Victorian style influence in this area. It's kind of like on the upper area if you're looking at the world map. So we are just going to be starting off with the front door. This home does have a wraparound porch. It actually has a double wraparound porch, but we'll get to the second level later on in the video. First, we are just going to be working on the hallway. I wanted to keep this area kind of closed off because I wanted it to feel more like a traditional Victorian home where in, that time period rooms were very closed off. There wasn't really much of a open concept idea or mindset. So we are going to be working on a little entryway and going to be adding some artwork into this hallway. So from the hallway, there is a living room space, a dining room space, and a library space. And then I did add some doors in between the hallway and the kitchen. I feel like having doors just kind of made sense into the kitchen because I was trying to make this somewhat accurate to the Victorian time period, and so I feel like having a door for some reason into the hallway into the kitchen just made sense. And so we are going to be adding some furniture now. I wanted, to keep it accurate to the time period of a Victorian home, and so I decided to add a picture frame TV into the space and just kind of like blended it in with a little art collage. So we are just going to be making a little play space for the kids. This is a three bathroom, four bedroom home, so there is a lot of space for a large family. If you want to play with a family in this home, this could make a pretty good vacation rental. And so we are just going to be adding a rocking chair and keeping this area pretty simple. I do add another side table on the other side of the couch. I'm going to be finishing up this room with some curtains. These are from the storybook nursery kit. It's just a very appropriate Victorian style pack, and so I wanted to use it in this build. And so we are going to be finishing up the room here, and then we're going to be going into the hallway to add a few more decorations into this space. I feel like having this like nice pictures kind of was a good like area to film. And now we are in the dining room. So I wanted this area to be kind of like a banquet hall, just a nice large dining room area. There is also access to the backyard if your Sims don't want to walk around the covered patio. So we are going to be adding some like china hutches and going to be adding a lot of these like heaters into the room. Again, I was trying to keep this like accurate to the time period that I would imagine this would be built on. So we are just going to be adding some curtains just to kind of keep that shape consistent from the outside of the house. And now we're going to be adding some countertops. I was imagining that this would be kind of more like display or like buffet style. You could just like go and like serve yourself and then go onto the table, or it could just be like party decorations are in that cabinet. But now we are in the kitchen, so I was trying to go for a nice fancy area in here, and we're going to be using some appliances from the cottage living expansion pack, and I wanted to use these new counters that came with the base game update because it looks like soapstone, I think it's called, but it looks like an old popular stone that would go in kitchens to me. And so we are just going to be adding a little island in the middle. It's kind of like maybe a more recent addition into this kitchen is to have a little bit more prep space in the middle. So these are from the Snowy Escape expansion pack. I wanted really badly to use the mailbox from Snowy Escape, but I know it's kind of annoying when people just use one item from one pack, and that pack is the most expensive pack. So I wanted to make sure that we both got our money's worth of the pack. So now we are going to be adding a mirror. This mirror I feel like was very time appropriate, so I wanted to put it in the entryway. And now we are going into the half bath off of the kitchen. Next, we are going to be heading into the office slash library space. I just wanted to show this little bathroom area. If your Sims aren't like using this as a vacation rental, I was kind of imagining that this space could be for like personal use or like for the family or possibly even like staff, not so much like party guests, although they would have to go to the second level if they needed to use the bathroom. Anyway, we are in the office slash library, so I wanted to use these bookshelves from Discover University because I always want to use these bookshelves, but I'm not always using medium or tall wall height, and these bookshelves fit best on those heights, and so I wanted to make a little seating area, a little nice cozy reading spot, and then we are going to be adding a little light. Again, very simple space. And then on the other side of the rooms, kind of more like the office area. So I do have the desk and a typewriter to keep it more time appropriate and very simple area. I'm just going to be using this rug from Discover University and the chair. I'm pretty sure this whole entire set is from Discovery University except for the typewriter, which is from Cottage Living. So we are just going to be adding some artwork. I wanted to use this artwork from Snowy Escape for its like mountain rescape. Maybe this family either moved from Mount Kumari or from the world that came with Snowy Escape, or they just love to visit there and they brought back some mementos. So we are just going to be finishing up this space by adding some little items onto the desk, and now we're going to be adding this chair from the Snowy Escape pack, and I feel like having this like furry rug was just really fun, and so I wanted to add it over here on the desk area. And I did realize that the floor was rotated in two different ways, so I had to fix that before I moved on, and now we are going to be adding a little tapestry area and going to the backyard of the house. And this area is very simple, and you might be thinking you didn't enclose the entire backyard. I wanted to have like a pool, and I wanted it to be realistic and like in these like more modern like safety standards, and so I put a fence around the pool, and so like on the outside it's kind of like more of a place for the kid, and so we are just going to be adding that pool, going to be adjusting the flooring a little bit more because I didn't realize how off it was, and now we're just going to be adding all the little pool things. I did want to make sure that there was space for everyone in the family to hang out in the backyard. So I do have a little like pack and play crib out here, and I do want to apologize because I knew when I added it that your Sims are automatically going to be putting that baby or infant out there like 24/7, and it might be annoying. So if you do want to use this as more of a vacation rental instead of a permanent residence, I would probably get rid of that pack and play crib before you move your Sims into their vacation rental, because you can't edit lots when your Sims are playing in vacation rentals. So we are just going to be adding that pack and play. You also saw that I added a swing into the non-fenced area, and I wanted to have a little like eating spot by the pool. So we are going to be making the swing set really used looking, and now we are on the second level of the house, and I wanted there to be like a large like that look down area into this home. I probably could have gotten like an extra bedroom out of this open area, but I wanted to have an open area. I feel like I should add more of these open areas into my home. I feel like they're kind of more common than I think, and so we are just now in the first bedroom, which I designed for a child girl. I wanted this home to be very pastel-y, if you get what I mean. I might be calling this home Spring Victorian Home, and so I wanted there to be a lot of like bright colors in this space, and so I'm just going to be adding the dresser from the Vampires pack, and see we're doing a little bit of rearranging. I feel like this original layout just wasn't really working with how I wanted to put certain items in, and so I did like readjust. I feel like this is a better layout, and I do add a like personal dollhouse for this sim. One, it's just to like hide the clipping of the banister from the stairs, but two, I feel like maybe the toddler and the infant, maybe like when they play dolls in the living room, it's just a little like tight, can't really like all play together, and so having a dollhouse in the girl's bedroom I feel like made sense. It's also a Victorian home, and the one downstairs is a Victorian home, and I just feel like it was kind of fun to have like two Victorian homes in a Victorian home. So we are going to be adding some wall decorations, and this was the hardest part. I feel like you need to have more Victorian kid items in the game, because like I feel like these are all really cute like items that I've added in like the wall decor section. I just feel like it's not fully time appropriate. So I would love to see like more accurate kid furniture, old time items. And so we are going to be adding some of these heating devices into the home, and going to be finishing up this little girl's room with just doing a little bit of rearranging, and going to be adding a few more art pieces into this space. And so we are now going to be in the toddler and infants room. This is a yellow theme for the pastel colors, and the majority items I use come from the storybook nursery kit, and so we are just going to be adding the toddler bed and the infant crib, and using this pack kind of solidified that there is like a family of 6 instead of a family of 4, because I really want, or a family of 5, because I really wanted to use both the toddler bed and the crib. And so you're just gonna be adding a rocking chair that is from the Parenthood pack. I could have used the one from the Storybook Nursery Kit in here, but I already used it in the living room, and I felt like having that area be more time appropriate just kind of made sense, because it's like the first thing you would see if you're a guest walking in to the home. So we do add a little like bookshelf or like bookcase into this house, and going to be doing a little bit of rearranging. I didn't want to like take away anything else. I just wanted to see how well I could make this bedroom work with what I already had. And so we are just going to be, like I said, doing a little bit of rearranging. And I feel like finding like vintage artwork for this room was pretty hard as well. So I do add these cute little like animal posters or like pictures. And now we are in the teens room, the blue room. It could also be a guest room. It does have access to the turret that is like a private area for this sim, whoever is living in this room. And so we are just going to be adding some curtains, very simple space. I honestly didn't know like an interest to design for, so I was originally thinking that the turret area could be like a music corner, and so we are just going to be adding a dresser, but that does end up going into the turret. And now we are going to be adding some more curtains, trying to see if like I want to add curtains into like the non-turret area. Instead, I decided to add a desk because that seemed more functional, especially if you are playing with a teen in this house, then they can like do their homework in here. But let's be honest with ourselves, they're probably going to be doing their homework in the most randomest place that they can think of, like in the pool or in their parents' bedroom. So we are just going to be making a little seating area and going to be making that little music corner. And I wanted to add more, but I didn't have enough space in this area. So I hope you can hear where I'm trying to take this. In the turret, I do add the organ from the vampires pack, and I don't know why. I'm just like, I want to add this like big chunky piece into this tiny room and have it not make any sense on how this giant pipe organ could have made it into this one square ladder. So we are just going to be making another little seating area for the sim, and now we are going to be in the primary bedroom, and I'm going to be using a lot of items from the vampires pack in this room just to keep it consistent. I wanted it to feel like the parents like got like a matching set with all of their favorite items. So we are going to be adding a seating area, going to be adding some curtains. They do have access to the balcony. I do only add a few things onto like the main part because I didn't want like there to be a whole bunch of stuff around the front of the second level because I was imagining that was just kind of be like off limit roof space. But if you do want to put stuff around the front of the balcony, you can do that. I just wanted to keep it a little small and simple area, and so now we are going to be adding a little room divider or more like a privacy divider, and going to be adding a plant into the corner. I feel like this room felt big, and then I added all of this like chunky furniture into the space. But we are now in the primary bathroom, which is the last room in the house. And so we are just making a very simple bathroom. You can see that I'm just copying and pasting items from the bathroom that the 3 bedrooms would be using. I just want to keep it consistent, and so we are just going to be finishing up this video in the balcony. I'm just adding a little seating area and some planter boxes. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, make sure to give it a big thumbs up on your way out. Also, make sure to hit the subscribe button. I post new videos every single Tuesday, and if you have any build suggestions for me, make sure to leave them down in the comments. Thank you so much to those who are already subscribed. I would love to reach 120 subscribers by the end of April, and every new friend counts. So I hope to see you all next week for another Sims 4 video. Bye!